I remember using it a lot when I first thought I was getting something. I did think I was going crazy at some point. But then I feel like the more you get into the world of mental illness and the more you learn about all the different kind of illnesses you can get, the less the word crazy seems to have meaning. Because what does crazy mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people, when they say crazy, they mean psychotic, they mean like having hallucinations or hearing voices, because that's what you usually see in the media. That's how crazy is portrayed as, and they try to make it look scary. But right now, like, I'm surrounded by people who have mental illnesses in my circle of friends, and I've studied mental illnesses a little bit, and it's getting to be less of a stigmatized subject, so everyone is talking about it. And now when someone says that I feel like I'm going crazy or something, I don't know what that means anymore, because it can mean so many different things. Oh, I did that. I actually Googled, am I crazy or am I going crazy? And like, the internet is not a good place to turn to for that kind of answer. I saw a lot of people, mostly on websites like Yahoo Answers, who are like, if you're asking yourself if you're crazy, you're probably not crazy, because people who are crazy don't know that they are. And I was like, cool. But then other websites also told me, if you have to ask yourself if you're going crazy, then you probably are. I was like, okay, what? And just there are so many different shades of what you would consider crazy, but yes, I have definitely, at many times in my life, thought I was going crazy. I would tell them, buck up, because things are gonna start feeling like they're going very, very fast. And like, even when you're not doing much, because I usually don't do much, but everything still feels like it's going very fast. And it feels like you have to have 100% control over everything in you and around you. Otherwise, you're not happy, you're not successful, you're not healthy, and you're not doing it right. It's also going to feel like a lot of very deep obsessing about very specific subjects for like very long periods of time. Because that's how my thing manifests as. And it's going to be a lot of like knowing that some thoughts you have don't make sense, but not knowing that well enough to actually stop thinking these. I guess I'm lucky enough to not have many daily struggles right now, at least not that are related to my mental illness. I feel like I've been in therapy for many years and I'm still on medication. So I have a lot of tools that are helping me deal with this. I guess when you've been ill for a long time, it's kind of hard to distinguish your everyday normal person struggles from your struggles as a person who deals with mental illness. But I would say, yeah, it's that feeling of needing like control over everything. Otherwise, it feels like you're not dealing with it. I can recognize a lot of black and white thinking in my patterns of thought all the time. It's like I'm either doing this mental health thing, I'm dealing with my mental illness, and I'm like taking care of myself perfectly, or not at all. It's like I'm the most mature adult who has their shit together of all time, or I'm like princess garbage trash can. Today, it's at work, I feel like I'm a very impatient person, and I don't know if it comes with the chronic anxiety or not, but I get irritated very fast. And it's like if one thing doesn't go right, then everything is wrong, and I start thinking about how much difficult that's going to make the rest of the process. And I keep thinking that I have a way of doing things that is better than other people's because I have this whole plan in my head. And when somebody does something differently, I know they might have different reasons, but I'm like, you don't get it though. I've thought this through completely, and I know what I'm doing. It's like I always need to prove to other people that I know what I'm doing. oh boy, do you have time? Because it's going to be a long list. The first thing that comes to mind is I'm afraid of my sister killing herself. Because she's attempted suicide multiple times in the past year. She's been dealing with pretty severe depression. And I feel like for the past few weeks it's been getting a little better. She's been on new medication. But it's still a very unpredictable road. And yeah, I'm just like afraid of my family, other members of my family also like collapsing from stress or something, because they've been taking care of her for a long time and they live with her, right? So that's a big burden on them that I feel like I didn't have as much, maybe because I was here. I was in a different country. After that would be more like selfish fears, I guess. Fears that I won't get in the grad school program that I want, or fears, of course, the fear that I will also like fall into depression and lose control over my life and end up in a really dark place where I have no idea how to get myself out of it. That sounds like hell to me. I don't want that to happen. I love reading and writing. I want to be a writer, but I haven't like worked on any really personal projects for a long time. I write like articles for Vent Over Tea, which is actually a mental health initiative. So it's great to get to write about mental health. I also read a lot of books in general. I watch a lot of TV. I don't want to say that I watch Netflix because that doesn't make sense. There's so many things on Netflix. You can't just say I watch Netflix. But I watch a lot of TV shows and mangas and animes, and some healthier hobbies include going to spin class and rock climbing, bouldering especially I really like. And yeah, that's pretty much it. One of the first moments that come to mind is when I'd been in Montreal for like a week. I just started university, and it was that time where we're all freshmen and no one really knew anyone. And two friends somehow convinced me to go eat brunch with them outside while I was in my pajamas. And mind you, this was like very clearly pajamas, like they had little bunnies on them and it was that pajama fabric. And I went outside in my pajamas because they were like, you don't need to get changed, it's fine. It's only 1 block away. It was not only 1 block away. It was like 2 or 3 blocks at least. And there were a lot of people in the streets because there was a protest or a march of some kind. I think it was to get Justin Trudeau elected. So there were a lot of people in the streets, and I had to do all of that in my pajamas and flip-flops. And that was a fun time. And made me feel like Montreal was a very non-judgmental place. My social life right now, I would say, is probably the best that it's ever been. Like, I have a pretty stable group of friends where we hang out a lot and we have fun together, but we also don't depend on each other, and we also don't have to spend too much time together. It's not like it was in high school where you just become friends with some people because you see them every day and you have to see them. I feel like with these friends in college, like, you know that the people you spend time with are the people you choose to spend time with. And like, yeah, I have good friends, and I guess one thing I would change about that, or I would like to change about that, is trying to feel more secure in my relationships, especially in my friendships, because this is a time where we're all at the age where we don't know what we're going to do with our future, and it's very likely that most of us will move out of Canada and go work in other countries or study in other countries. Like, hell, I'm moving to another country to study. So I have a lot of doubts around that because I've never been really good at keeping in touch with people once we don't live in the same country. And I'm really, really afraid that I'm just gonna lose all these friends as fast as I move away. Because I feel like I'm gonna move around a lot in my life, and I don't want to imagine that as just a series of like making friends, feeling happy with them, feeling like I found my family, and then having to say goodbye to them and starting all over again. I guess like something that I feel a lot of other people with mental illness have said before me, but that still needs to be said because it's not easy to understand, is that like a person can seem smart but not be rational. And because I've heard that said about me, and I've heard that said about a lot of my friends who deal with mental health issues, especially anxiety disorders, where it's like, you're smarter than this. Like, you know that this thought or that thought can't hurt you. And you know that this thing that you're stressing so much about doesn't really matter. But again, you can't be really smart and still have a mental illness. And like, it's important not to beat yourself up about that. Like, having a mental illness does not make you less smart. It just kind of means that the part of your brain that's supposed to be dealing with this bullshit has been kind of taken over by the bullshit. And now it's like, it feels like your own intelligence is working against you. I also feel very vain right now because I've opened this by saying like, smart people. Yeah, another thing that I want like mostly people who deal with mental illness to know is that like, it's valid, but like, yes, it is valid. And it's valid even if you're like not at the worst you could possibly be. It's valid even if you have a lot of friends who support you, and if you're going to therapy, and if you have medication, and you have like a great support system, and if you exercise right, and if you do everything right, basically, and you have all the things around you that are supposed to make this as easy as possible. Like, it's okay if it still feels hard and difficult, because like, it doesn't matter how many things you have to make it easier. I think some things in life are just meant to be shitty and difficult, and it's okay to feel like this is really hard, even if it looks like it should be easy for you, or if you know that it could be so much harder for you. Pretty much a lot of politically incorrect jokes fall into that category. Like, in my group of friends, I make a lot of like racist jokes, but that's the kind of thing that I can do with them because like, I know they're not really racist, and they're my friends, they're my people, and it's okay to make jokes like that when you're with people you trust. But it's like, if a person just comes up to me and opens with that, I'm gonna be like, wait, what? Like, because how can I know if this is a joke, or like, you know, you need to sort of prove yourself before you can make these sort of rules. It's like you have to know the rules before you can bend them. I guess this is something that's would apply more to OCD. I'm not sure if it would apply as much to other illnesses because like, I don't have the experience of those illnesses, but like, something that you learn when you grow up with mental illness is that a lot of the things that you think are weird or inherently a part of your mental illness are actually not that weird. It's like, I feel like I'm kind of telling you like, you're not special, but it's true. Like, that is a very important thing to remember that made me feel a lot better, is to try to normalize your experience as much as possible. And yeah, when I first started getting the early symptoms of OCD, I really would have loved to know that intrusive thoughts are very common among most people, and that everyone gets them from time to time. And the difference is just that most people don't pay as much attention to them, but everyone gets them. So that's not something that only people with OCD have. And just because you get them doesn't mean that you automatically have to like spiral into another bad episode or something.